Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, Verse 36. Srattunda asis ruvais nasayor idodare chamasatar narandare prasitaramasye drasane drahastute yacharvanam te paravan atnihotram. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Translation. O Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice. Your nostril is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the whole of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma, and whatever you chew is known as Agnihotra. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Vedavadi says that there is nothing more than the Vedas and the performance of sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas. They have recently made a rule in their group to formally observe daily sacrifice. They simply ignite a small fire and offer something whimsically, but they do not strictly follow the sacrificial rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. It is understood that by regulation there are different plates of sacrifice required, such as Srit, Shruva, Barhis, Chaturhotra, Ida, Chamasa, Prasitra, Draha, and Agnihotra. One cannot achieve the result of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulation. In this age, there is practically no facility for performing sacrifices in strict discipline. Therefore, in this age of Kali, there is a stricture regarding such sacrifice. It is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtana Yajna and nothing more. The incarnation of the Supreme Lord is Yajneswara, and unless one has respect for the incarnation of the Lord, he cannot perfectly perform sacrifice. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto Him is the factual performance of all sacrifices, as explained herein. Different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So, the different Lord is known as Yajneshwara. In this material world, the relationship of all living entities with the Supreme Lord is in the form of offering yajna or sacrifice. The one who receives this yajna, sacrifice, one who is the enjoyer of this sacrifice is called Yajneshwara. This is basically the structure of this material world. The Lord brings forth this material world, and then the sacrifices that each living entity perform, ultimate beneficiary is Krishna, and that is what sustains this material world. The principle of yajna is what sustains this material world. So, it is revealed here that the different parts of the body of the Lord are all like the plate from which you, just like you have a plate and you eat the food through the plate. So in the same way, the Lord's body, he is considered different parts of the body of Lord's incarnation. He is considered as different plates in which different kinds of sacrifices are offered. And in that same spirit, Prabhupada says that in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explained there, explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. So there are different forms of the Lord are pleased by different kind of Yajnas. That's like the question always arises. What is the form of Nama Prabhu? Because we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here there is Hare is there, Krishna is there. If you say only Krishna, Krishna, then Krishna's form you can. Or Radhe, 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 you say Radha's form comes in your mind. But what form should come in mind when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare? That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's form. Because he is the Yajneshwara. He is the one who receives the Yajna in the form of Sankirtana. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you say Hare and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is Krishna himself, adopting the complete mood of servitude of Srimati Radharani, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to experience Krishna wanted to experience the ecstasy or the rasa that Radharani was relishing by serving him. So therefore Krishna himself took the mood of Srimati Radharani and appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and it is revealed in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sri Chaitanya, Radha, Krishna, Anya, none other than Radha and Krishna combined together. If you say Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, it is also a combination of Hare and Radharani's name and addressing Radharani and Krishna. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The form to whom this offering is made can easily be concluded to be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically is the most effective process of Yajna in this Kali-yuga. Now, we are not talking about very high level of, bhakti yoga. We are not talking of that. That is another level. We are fortunate to get the shelter of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, and therefore, advance in our Krishna consciousness to another level beyond yajna, the normal sense of the word yajna. The normal sense of the word yajna is something as a duty given to everybody in this, every human being has to perform yajna. Otherwise the world doesn't sustain itself. So the Krishna consciousness movement has two purposes. One purpose is to impart this process of yuga dharma to all living entities. So in distributing this knowledge about Yuga Dharma, of simply assembling together and chanting Hare Krishna, Mahamantra, doing Kirtan every day, will totally change the world, even if they do not know the Krishna consciousness philosophy or other things. So Sankirtana is a Yuga Dharma, they please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then just simply by chanting Sankirtana, one becomes well situated in this Yuga. We of course, we go deeper, we chant our japa, we go beyond that, we go into understanding the tattvas, different tattvas, because we are got the mercy of the same knowledge through the parampara. So in the process of our practicing Krishna consciousness, we should not forget that we have a responsibility to this world also. There is another dimension to pleasing the Supreme Lord. It's not that we can neglect the world, let it go to hell. We cannot. The Lord wants us to spread Sankirtana. It's a very practical way to make everybody chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to make everybody into an initiated devotee and practice Krishna consciousness the way we are practicing. That obviously is not very scalable. It is not scalable. What is scalable? Every town and village. Not that every town and village there will be initiated, everybody will get initiated instead of 16 rounds. Every town and village, the name of the Lord will be sung through the Sankirtana, irrespective of the qualifications that they may have, they may not have. They may be non-vegetarians, they may be so many things, does not matter. Yuga Dharma means everybody has to practice that. So as a Krishna consciousness movement, that is why Srila Prabhupada's vision, if we have to understand every town and village. Now how it is possible every town and village, you don't even get few devotees in the temple to chant 16 rounds, surrender their lives and follow the program of Prabhupada. The whole world will do. Yes, the whole world can do Sankirtana. Almost like a ritual also. Does not matter. It will be a very big achievement if we can train people to simply perform Sankirtana. And especially if they perform Sankirtana for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the soul makes progress in leaps and bounds. And then next life, he can come and take up seriously the Krishna consciousness. So there are different levels of administering Krishna consciousness. This whole world is like as far as the devotees are concerned, it is like a school. The students are in different classes. So, how to administer education, spiritual education to everybody. Spiritual education does not necessarily mean philosophy of Krishna consciousness also. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is the king of all education. What does it mean? If people practice Sankirtana, by the touch of the holy name of the Lord, self-knowledge will awaken. What is the highest education? Highest education is to understand who I am. I am not this temporary body. What is my eternal identity? Jivere Surupoha Intira Krishna Dasa. I am the servant of Krishna. So simply that much, if you can understand first intellectually, then little more deeply, and finally in actual action, if one can experience, act as a servant of Krishna every moment, 24 hours, that is full awakening of one's soul. And along with such awakening, all the other things, transcendental experiences also come, total detachment, attachment to Krishna, all these things will manifest by the power of the Sankirtana. So this we should not forget in the Krishna consciousness movement, that we have to, Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya, there are people, there are some Vaishnavas who just stick to their bhajan and that's all. But that is not the ultimate. That is not the only way. In our line, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, they are into giving the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everyone. And example is Prabhupada. It is not that Prabhupada went to New York and then in the midst of hippies and drunkards and drug addicts, Prabhupada spoke the highest thing that our parampara has to give, Radha Krishna Prema. He did not. He administered Sankirtana, chanting and dancing. They need not even know why they are chanting and dancing. To dance, you don't need to tell somebody any explanation to dance. Everybody likes to dance. Similarly, take Krishna Prasadam, you give tasty food, anybody will take. You don't need to explain that you have to take this Prasadam, this Prasadam will do this to you, that to you. So we also had to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and think in a massive way how every town and village we can introduce this Sankirtana. Every living entity is important for Krishna. We cannot just be selfish and we chant Hare Krishna and try to awaken our Krishna Prema. That is fine. Prabhupada as our Acharya has guided us very nicely on an exact track. We should not go this way or that way. That track is our own sadhana, and we have to involve ourselves in preaching Krishna consciousness, spreading this mission to everybody. At whatever level it may be. It is not that you have to speak the highest katha, that is Krishna consciousness preaching. Ordinary people, we tell them to chant Hare Krishna, that is also highest preaching. In preaching, what subject? Just like Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam also at several places. He criticizes people going straight to 10th canto. It's all right from beginning, one has to understand the Vishnu Tattva. The God Tattva has to be understood. By going canto after canto, before we come to understand what is Rasa Leela. So it is, all these warnings are given by Srila Prabhupada, and this is our treasure. And Prabhupada is simply passing on the vibration of his Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. For instance, if somebody says, why I have to do all this preaching and all, I just want to settle in Vrindavan and everyday chant. And Prabhupada won't approve. Prabhupada will say, no, you preach. You're a young man, what you're trying to do? Besides, the fact that we have so much of anarthas and so much of rajoguna, all those things in this Kali-yuga, being born in this Kali-yuga, which is a fact, that we have to dovetail those things in Krishna's service. If we don't, then if we try to do only bhajana, then our mind will actually develop all kinds of lusty desires. This is the greatest contribution of an acharya. Acharya, according to time, place and circumstances, he gives a particular way of taking medicine. Just like doctor says, one after meal, one tablet before meal, night again one meal after or before. You have to do it exactly in the same way. So Srila Prabhupada has given us our morning program. Morning you do this, for yourself you do, for your own advancement you do chanting, Mangalarati, Tulsi Puja, Guru Puja, you do. And after that you engage in preaching Krishna consciousness for others. And again in the evening you come, you do bhajan, kirtan, all those things, read. It's a sandwich program. Our preaching is sandwiched between two sadhanas, morning and evening. And then it's perfect. There is a gradual burning out of anarthas and real progress in jnana and vairagya. It happens by following the specific instructions, the way Prabhupada has modeled for a devotee in Krishna consciousness movement. Anybody who goes off, you'll see, they'll be having problem. Problem in the sense, there'll be retarded growth in spiritual life. For that, in our mind, we should understand that Krishna is not only interested in giving Krishna prema to everybody, Krishna is interested in every living entity practicing Yuga Dharma. For him, it is as important as that. Just like Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that if I can make one pure devotee my life, my mission will be successful. Now that you should not construe that, oh, what is this, just for one? No. One pure devotee and many non-pure devotees. Because one pure devotee is very rare. But the Lord's mission is actually, there are so many living entities there, whatever degree that they can take the medicine, we should administer to them. Otherwise, Prabhupada need not have done all this. He is just looking for where is that one devotee. Why I have to waste time with thousands? So there are two angles to this. Yes, we also have a responsibility to become pure devotee. We have to put efforts to become pure devotee. Nicely chant, then, associate, do all this Sankirtana program, morning, evening, everything, to become pure devotee of the Lord. At the same time, we also have to bring people up to Krishna consciousness wherever you are there. We have a duty, we have a responsibility. Sometimes devotees say, no, I am not into philosophy and all these things, I don't want to preach. The highest preaching is what? Krishna Upadesh. Whomever you meet, you tell about Krishna. Simply tell about Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. You read from Bhagavad Gita, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Even there are no people to tell this. So even telling that is a preaching. Out of 10, one may receive, two may receive, they may chant. Especially in this country, people are so simple, you tell them to chant Hare Krishna, they will start chanting Hare Krishna. I have seen that. Even intellectuals. Sometimes we say, oh, now we have to preach, I have to convince, then the person will chant Hare Krishna. But simply they come and the first time you say, you wouldn't chant Hare Krishna every day. Ah, yes, I will do. Immediately you give one mala, they will start chanting. So a great preaching field is there in this country, especially if you go to villages. Ultimately, our preaching Krishna consciousness is Sankirtana movement. Every town and village literally means villages. Not simply in the towns. In every village we should go and have Sankirtana. If you think in every village we are going to open a temple like this, it's not going to open. It is going to be a Sankirtana temple. Here one temple we find difficult, pujari, cook and all so many things, offering and all those things, isn't it? How can you imagine this standard of temples in every town and village? Not possible. What does it mean? Every town and village, Sankirtana temples will be there. People will gather and do Sankirtana and we distribute prasadam. It is scalable. And it is going to happen because Prabhupada said, every town and village. Every major cities, Prabhupada has already demonstrated it. And now, through his disciples, he will do. Every town and village will happen. Not symbolic, it is really going to happen. Because the Sankirtana has that power. When people join together, they have that power. That power comes. It is not an intellectual power. Because we try to assess everything with our intellect. Why will they come for Sankirtana? How will it work? What is their interest? All these questions will come. And then we'll just, okay, it's not going to happen, we'll say. If I go to a village and tell people and then why it'll happen? Because you think that because you read Prabhupada's book, you got convinced Krishna is Supreme Personality, Godhead and all, therefore now you are chanting Hare Krishna. You think that everybody will have to go through that in order to chant Hare Krishna. No. People are so simple. Simply as a ritual they will start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it's a matter of organizing it, Sankirtana. Sankirtana and prasad distribution, two things can conquer. These two things, people do not have to be philosophically inclined. Men, women, children, all can do this. And this has got the Shakti to get people doing this. So we should not get lost only in our level of... of course, one side we go to the masses, other side we have a clear goal. How to understand ultimately Prabhupada's philosophy from the eyes of the 6 Goswamis. We are the Rupanugas, we are the followers of Rupa Goswami. That is our personal life. Even though we may be pursuing as a Rupanuga, awakening Krishna consciousness to the extent of eventually becoming a servant of Radharani to serve the Lord. That is a personal life of each devotee. And there is another life for the devotee is when this body and that's a life for the soul of the living entity, of the Vaishnava. My soul is to develop Krishna Prema. But I have this body, mind and all this social ego, everything according to my karma I have got. We have to dovetail everything for the highest welfare of the world. Highest welfare is to make people chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, perform Sankirtana Yajna. Individually it will do good, and it is because of performance of Yajna, all prosperity, all good things, everything happens. Today the hope for the material world is because all over the world Sankirtana is happening every day. even material prosperity. Because that is the only form of yajna that is happening. There are no other yajna, there are no other, people are not, it's all vanished. The concept of yajna itself is vanished even from India. Human life means the yajna is a very big factor in life, in daily life. That is a concept of spiritual advancement. Just see how unfortunate. Practically everybody in the country, they do not know anything about it, almost like westernized. Or like Shudra, Kalau Shudra Sambhava, everybody is born a Shudra. They don't, if we hadn't had the good fortune to come across Srila Prabhupada, we also would have been totally blind about, what is human life and what is the purpose of human life, all these things. We just lived like animals in a more polished way. So when we chant, coming back to that point, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Yajneshwara for Kali-yuga, and the way to please him is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And anybody who chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a beginner, as well as very advanced devotee when they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the process is the same. But at different planes of existence, the same thing is executed. Just like when we chant Hare Krishna with offenses, Prabhupada chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with offenses. He does japa, we do japa. The difference is, his japa is not only his body is chanting and hearing, his soul is chanting and hearing. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, our body is chanting, mind is chanting. To what degree our soul is chanting depends upon our awakening. But it is only by our body and the mind chanting, our chanting goes into higher circles. Higher circles, but deeper, you can say. Grossly, body, tongue is chanting, mind is chanting, and then you are hearing. That chanting and hearing, chant with the tongue and hear with the mind and the ears, that is how it begins. And that process of chanting with the tongue and hearing with the ears and the mind purifies the mind. As the mind gets purified, our deeper sense of self will also start chanting, and deeper self hearing. Soul gets involved in chanting and hearing. So it goes, that process goes on. At one level, you do, it purifies you, it extends your chanting to a deeper level, and then more you get purified, then that further extends into a deeper level. So finally the soul in an awakened state will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the process is same. From the chanting by people who do not know any philosophy of Krishna consciousness, simply participating in Sankirtana, that process is same. The pure devotee chanting and hearing is same, but it is being performed in another plane of existence in addition to the external one. That's what I said, extends. Our japa, our quality of japa extends from gross bodily, mental level to spiritual level. One level of chanting, or chanting from one plane of existence, it purifies the next layer of existence, and next layer of existence. Finally, it is said that the 16 words of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it purifies and awakens 16 layers of the self. So it's a big secret. Iti shodashakanamnam kalikalmashanashanam natharo paratropaya sarva vedeshu drishyate. This 16-syllable, 16-word mantra, it ultimately completely awakens the soul. Any questions? Yes.
Tell somebody chant Hare Krishna because they are really too much distressed by some problem. If you tell, please chant Hare Krishna, your problem will be solved. Are we at some level offending the holy name?
You see, we should tell people you please the Lord. And the Lord's blessings, problems will be solved. Not that you chant to solve your problems. You please the Lord, and the Lord will automatically, blessing is there, your problem will be solved. So what happens if you don't tell them to please the Lord, then it becomes a kind of a quid pro quo. I do this, I'll solve my problem. Whether problem solves or not, you continue to please. Do your duty, Sankirtan, Yuga Dharma, you chant. Just like in homes, we should tell people, get all your children together, evening, parents, everybody, do 10 minutes of Sankirtana. That's all it's say. All the problems, why you want to go, why you want to chant Hare Krishna only for one particular problem? You chant Hare Krishna, if you don't say for particular problem, all problems will get solved. When I am saying that with one currency you can buy everything, why you are going and asking, give the currency and say, give me one item? Sankirtana is so powerful, if you practice Sankirtana in your life, then everything will get solved. Just like we are practicing, our Krishna Consciousness movement is a practical example of how devotees are chanting every day 16 rounds, and everything from the mundane point, material point of view also, everything is taken care of very miraculously. Very miraculously it is taken care. All the requirements that we need to preach Krishna Consciousness is coming. So in what attitude we tell them? Because ultimately, see, people say, just like yesterday somebody was in our dais, that one of the guests was saying, what do you practically get? Will my cancer get cured by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? They want to know. So the answer would be, not cancer. There are hundreds of cancers, 100 times more worse disease than cancer will go. That's all you should tell. Why are you sticking to only one? And it is a fact also, because what happens, why we suffer? Simple. Why do we suffer? Because of past karmas. Past karma means papa karma. When you chant Hare Krishna and please the Lord, is there any greater punya than that? No. Just being empowered with that punya shakti of chanting, you can overcome the papa shakti. See, just like if I take some money from you, I have to give you back. Debt is there. To clear that debt, I need money. If I give him, then he will leave me alone. Right? So therefore, like people do so many prayaschitta for some sinful activities. There is no bigger prayaschitta than Sankirtana. So automatically our stock of papa karma all starts vanishing by the highest currency of Sankirtana. So many punyas are there. Punya karma, you do this, you do that, you do that. You go seva, this thing, that thing, all those things they do, so that they counter the papa bija that is going to sprout In life you do not know. Any moment the Papa Bijas will sprout, bringing dukkha. Bodily dukkha, mental dukkha, physical dukkha, diseases, enemies, outside attacks. So many kinds of dukkha, adi atmika, adi bhautika, adi devi, kleshas are always there. So all that can be, to counter, you need a Shakti. You need a Shakti means it automatically punya is, that's Rupa Goswami says, chanting Hare Krishna is automatically the highest punya. Not that we chant for punya. That is one of the offenses. To think it is a auspicious, pious activity. It's a transcendental activity. If you want to please the Lord, moment transcendence comes. And then byproduct is punya. Philosophically we know that everything will be taken care. Many, many devotees you have seen who was, when they come to Krishna consciousness, so distressed, their family condition or their personal situation is so distressed, but continuously chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, completely life changes. All material fortunes also change. It's a fact. So what we say is not, that's exactly why a Yuga Dharma should be done. Normally, for the upkeep of the world. Then you have your sadhana that is for your spiritual advancement. But every human being, a family has to do yajna, a society has to do yajna, a nation has to do yajna. They all have to do something to please the Lord. And these are all in different yugas, there are different things. In this Kali-yuga, it is the Sankirtana. Perform Sankirtana, house to house, village to village, town to town. That will bring prosperity also to this material prosperity also. Yatra yogeshwaro Krishna tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. It's not where, if Krishna is there, how is Krishna there in this, in the holy name? So in a society, in a home, you manifest Krishna's holy name. There will be Shri, that means opulence. All Aishwaryas will be there. No poverty. All victory will be there. We are not anti-opulence, we are not anti-victory. In the beginning, Krishna tells Arjuna, you fight without victory or defeat in mind. You just do your duty, he says. That is a way of working, but ultimately we want victory. And that's what Krishna says. Yes, Shri Vijaya, victory. So victory for Lord's mission is very important. Personally, I may not be the one who succeeds or fails, but even if I don't succeed, then somebody else will succeed and should succeed in Lord's mission. If I am given a service for the Lord, if I cannot do it, I should pull myself out and allow somebody competent to do it. Because I am interested in victory of Sankirtana movement. Why I should be an obstacle there and some people who are more capable of coming and doing, and I stop it? I sit and stagnate, thinking it is only I should do. So that is also another, this perspective is very important. Otherwise you cannot explain why Prabhupada wanted so much success. Vaishnavas also want success, but they don't want personal, they're not interested in personal success. They want to see the whole world chant Hare Krishna. They want to succeed. They want to see that Krishna consciousness movement succeeds against Maya. They want to see that. We are after success. We are after big things. But not that I should do those big things. One should keep oneself always hopeful of the universal global picture of the Krishna consciousness movement. The world should spread, and Krishna consciousness should go into every town and village. Literally, it should go to every town and village. In every town and village, they should be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction, Nagaradi Grama, Mora Naam, he says, my name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, my name will be spread all over the world. What is his name? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. A long name he has got. That's what is spread. You put all these things together, that combination of names, Radha and Krishna, is nothing but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is, his name is spread all over the world. Any other questions? No.
If in the beginning somebody starts chanting Hare Krishna, so we tell them you should also take prasadam. Supposing they are meditators, it takes some time for them to give up. Actually, we can give up. But can we say that at least you offer some water or some fruit to the Lord and take that as prasadam? But he is not yet a vegetarian.
Doesn't matter. If it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if he is offering to the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a meat eater's thing will be accepted.
They can offer something.
They can offer. It is if he is under the instruction of a Vaishnava, and because if he is under the instruction guidance of a Vaishnava, he is going to naturally rise up to next higher levels. So what is present condition, they don't see. Just like there is one thing of Prabhupada telling, no, I am very addicted to wine. So Prabhupada said, every time you drink wine, you think of Krishna. Think of Krishna and drink wine. So what happens? His thinking of Krishna will purify him. His taste for wine will go away. It's a fact. None of our bad habits can go overnight. Not possible. None of the bad habits can go overnight. With a deep conditioning. Just like a tap water, there is a dirty water in a pot. Open the pure tap. Pure water keeps filling it. After half an hour, you see what happens. Pure water will be there. This is a process. This Hare Krishna chanting is like opening the tap. You go on this increasing their Sankirtana, slowly all the dirt will go away. In our life also that is happening. All the dirt goes away step by continuously doing, every day pouring the Hare Krishna Mahamantra into our heart. Our heart becomes cleansed. All the dirt, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all that things will overflow and go out. Very powerful process. Not that, you need jnana and all those things. Jnana results from this Sankirtana. Yes.
You mentioned about the preaching. It's not such a Vrindavan, we have to go to each and town and do that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I did not say we did not, should not. We should not go to that extreme. We should do both. Exactly as Prabhupada said. Yeah.
Yeah, being a temple brahmachari or a temple grihastha, it is easy for them to do this kind of activity. But if you take my example, I'm not a full-time missionary, but I've been initiated by ISKCON Bangalore and I've been practicing quite a long time. But I seriously want to contribute something to the temple, especially on the preaching activity. Of course, I come to temple regularly and I do contribute to devotional service. So what would be your advice? In other way, what would be your expectation who are seriously want to participate in the preaching activity? What would be your advice? What are avenues which I can contribute to the preaching?
See, first thing is you have to decide how many hours you can give a week. So that is very important. Because if you don't give time, then nothing works. So first you should decide that irrespective of what it is to contribute for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, for my subsistence and existence, I need to spend this much time. This much extra time I can give. That's time first you set aside. Then you will get great satisfaction that whether this service or that service, whatever it is, it's a teamwork. In the teamwork, how can I contribute? You contribute and you'll feel fully satisfied. In other words, if once you have become Lord Chaitanya's devotee, without thinking of the interest of Prabhupada, one should not simply take up so many things and then, consume all the time for that. That is a Maya, that's how she comes. Okay, somebody says you're working, somebody says we'll give you an increment, but you cannot go home till 8 o'clock. Before that you used to come at 6 o'clock home. They'll give you, I'll make you a team leader, now you cannot go till 8 o'clock. You should take a considered choice, do I want that? For giving a few thousands more, if it is required for subsistence, you have to take. You have to make intelligent choices. Anyway, I don't think it makes any difference that much for me. But I don't want to lose 2 hours. I want to come and sit and read 2 hours Prabhupada's books. So one of the ways in which in Kali-yuga we are trapped, devotees also get trapped, is by not having time. So first we have to hit upon that. Strictly have some liberated time. It's a spiritual luxury to have that. And you chant Hare Krishna, you'll get it. But if you don't look for it, you don't get it. And if you don't look for it, you can get entangled more and more. More and more. That is the advice I can give. Jai Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.